So, listen to this. If you think Japanese football is just a cute underdog story about wholesome fans cleaning up stadiums, you are suffering from the most horrendous footballing delusion on the internet. While the experts were busy praising their manners, the Japan Football Association has been quietly building one of the most ruthless football projects the sport has ever seen. This wasn't supposed to happen. 30 years ago, Japan wasn't even a football nation. Baseball ruled the country. There wasn't a professional football league, there wasn't a clear development pathway, and if you dreamed of becoming a footballer, your career probably ended with you playing for your company's amateur team after work. Compared to Europe and South America, Japan looked decades behind. Then something unexpected changed everything. It wasn't a famous coach. It wasn't government money. It was an anime series. Captain Tsubasa inspired an entire generation to dream about football. Kids who had never kicked a ball suddenly wanted to play for Japan, and many future internationals have credited the series with sparking their passion for the game. What started as fiction slowly became reality as football exploded in popularity across the country. In 1993, Japan finally launched the J-League. It felt like the beginning of a new era. Then came disaster. The agony of Doha. Japan needed just one result to qualify for their first ever World Cup. With seconds remaining, Iraq scored a heartbreaking equalizer. In an instant, the dream disappeared. Most nations would have spent years blaming bad luck. Japan did something completely different. They treated failure like research. Instead of asking, "Why did we lose?" they asked, "How do we make sure this never happens again?" That single question became the foundation of one of football's greatest long-term projects. The Japan Football Association created a vision that stretched far beyond the next tournament. Their goal wasn't simply to qualify for World Cups, it was to build enough clubs, academies, and coaching systems that producing elite footballers would become normal. They wanted a football ecosystem capable of creating world champions, not just one lucky generation. And it worked. Year after year, the J-League expanded. Coaching standards improved, academies multiplied. Young talents began moving to Europe earlier than ever before, learning to survive against stronger, faster, and more ruthless opponents. But despite all that progress, there was still one problem Japan couldn't solve. For decades, Japanese football was built around teamwork, discipline, and collective harmony. Technically, they were outstanding. Tactically, they were intelligent. Their work ethic was admired across the world. Yet whenever the biggest moments arrived, something was missing. Not talent, not organization. A killer. A player willing to ignore everyone else, trust himself completely, and decide the game on his own. Japan had built 11 brilliant footballers, but they still hadn't built a monster. And one night in Russia, the entire world discovered exactly why that mattered. Japan found that answer in the most unexpected place imaginable. At the 2018 World Cup, they were just minutes away from pulling off one of the greatest upsets in football history. Leading Belgium 2-0, Japan stood on the edge of a historic quarterfinal. Then everything collapsed. Belgium fought back, and with the final attack of the match, raced the length of the pitch to score the winner. In just 14 seconds, Japan's dream was over. That defeat changed everything. The lesson wasn't that Japan lacked quality. They had already proven they could outplay some of the world's best. The real problem was mentality. When the game demanded someone to take responsibility, to be selfish, to finish the job without hesitation, Japan didn't have that player. Then, almost as if football had copied fiction, Blue Lock arrived. The manga imagined a brutal program designed to create the world's greatest striker by encouraging ego instead of self-sacrifice. While it was fictional, its message struck a nerve across Japan. The idea that great teams also need fearless individuals perfectly reflected the conversation already happening inside Japanese football. Even the Japan Football Association later partnered with the creators of Blue Lock for its Future Camp initiative, using the series to promote overseas scouting and encourage talented young players of Japanese heritage to join the national development pathway. At the same time, another piece of the puzzle was falling into place. Japan wasn't just producing more players. It was exporting them. Instead of staying comfortable at home, stars like Takefusa Kubo, Kaoru Mitoma, Wataru Endo, Takehiro Tomiyasu, and Zion Suzuki were developing in Europe's toughest leagues, where every training session demanded greater speed, strength, and confidence. These players weren't simply learning better football. They were learning how to compete without fear. The results became impossible to ignore. At the 2022 World Cup, Japan stunned Germany, then defeated Spain, finishing top of one of the toughest groups in the tournament. Suddenly, beating football's traditional giants no longer felt like a miracle. It felt like the next step in a plan that had been unfolding for decades. And that's what makes Japan so dangerous today. Most nations prepare for the next World Cup. Japan prepares for the next generation. Their academies keep producing talent. Their best youngsters keep moving to Europe. Their coaching philosophy continues to evolve. And now, they're even searching beyond Japan's borders for players who can strengthen the national team. This is no longer a country hoping to surprise the world. It's a country expecting to compete with the very best. So the next time someone tells you Japan is simply football's nice guys, remember this. While everyone else was laughing at the underdog was building a machine. A machine designed to turn heartbreak into progress, progress into belief, and belief into World Cup contenders. Japan isn't asking for permission to join football's elite anymore. They're coming to take their place among them.